Oh yeah, we back with another episode of The Twisted Tea, where we come to bring you the news with a twist. And well, as you was reading on the comments, we want to know, is Diddy being set up? Did he say too much? Was more done behind the scenes that we don't know about? Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get into it, because I'd like to say that there is a lot going on behind the scenes that you all may not know about. All right? And with that being said, I was watching Tisa Tells. I believe that's her name. All right, Tisa Tells. Um and she went out to state that somebody would go out and not give her credit on some of the work she's done. Well, we don't do that. Not around here. So we giving you credit, Tisa, for what you've done. And you were the first person I heard about this Ron Burkle guy. All right. Now we're not gonna get into Ron Burkle and too much of whom he is and what he does, although he will be brought up shortly. But I do want to get into it with you all on why we think and what Diddy may have said to cause his downfall. Because over the last, I don't know, 3 years, he's done a lot of talking. Okay. Over the last 3 years, Diddy's been talking about a lot of different things. Okay. And with that being said, well, like I know, when you talk and certain things are said, whew, they want you quiet, right? Um, Throughout this, you all, I was digging, okay? Yeah, shoveling up the dirt. And we came across a couple things that sparked interest. Now, when all of this stuff started to come out, right? Obviously, you have the people who believe that he's guilty for everything automatically, right? Then you have the people who, like Slim Thug, um, Jason Derulo, and a couple other people who go, hey, this needs to be figured out in court, whether or not it has or hasn't been actually done, it needs to be figured out in court. I firmly look, I'm gonna come out here and say it, okay? I do believe that sexual acts took place, right? Bro, that's part of life, right? People are all the time. So for me to sit here and go, all right, sexual acts didn't happen, well, I'd be lying to myself, right? I'd be lying to you, and I'm not gonna do that. So I do believe that sexual acts happened. I do believe that a lot of people who attended those events, well, they knew, right? I don't think people weren't in the know. I definitely think that people knew. It was talked about how there'd be 3 cameras out there at one time. So it was definitely being recorded where people can see it being recorded, you know? Uh, so with that, I say that to say just because the parties happened and we know the parties happened, right? Just because we saw what happened with the Cassie stuff, not discrediting it was a mess. But 1 second, people, just because we saw what took place with the Ronald Jones case, right? And look, I was a big person on the fence of once I seen the Ronald Jones case, I was like, oh, he did it again. It's all going down. And it did all go down. And well, it did seem like it all happened again. But at that point, I started to ask myself, why? Why? is all of this coming up? Why is it happening now? Why is it that they've known about this for years and it's just now coming to light? Like, they have known the parties, they have known what happens in the back of the parties, and they have known who's been filmed, right? The blackmailing has been going on. They know it, right? But why is it now? Why is it that all of a sudden now we need to start to go, look at Diddy. What did he do? Right? Why do they have to come get him for sex crimes when sex crimes are committed across the country daily, right? On local levels. Local levels. And to be honest, ain't nobody getting their house raided like he got his house raided on those levels. Okay? Just saying. I was reading in the paper 3 years ago about brothels in the areas and this and that from where I am. And nobody got in trouble. Right? Like, they got a case going on right now that is across country lines, that is from California to Boston. All right? And I'm not going to get into it, and I'm not bringing up the case name or any of the stuff like that, but they got a case going on right now where they're discussing the different things that go on between the higher ups and the people who are basically at these places letting them have the sex. Like, they have cases going on where they're trying to keep the politicians out of that. So for me to sit back and believe that they didn't know what was going on with Diddy, well, that's a crock of crap, right? It just doesn't make sense. Now, bear with me because I will be flipping over to show you some of the footage of the things that was mentioned out of his mouth in interviews that have taken place 3 years ago. So that now here we are, and we get into that point where they're like, oh no, he must go, because if he continues to pitch off the stuff coming out of his mouth, well, we can't have that. We can't have the unity that he's talking about. So bear with me. It will take a second while I pull this up for you to see. So I'm going to go on share screen now and get it. All right. So just bear with me while I pull up the video. It should be up any second now.
I really
Just in this video, right? We don't pay for the ads. All right. I know I'm on YouTube and all that other fancy stuff, but we don't pay for the ads. So while the ads are going on, ad play, we're going to keep it quiet, but we're going to dive into this because on this video, he gets into talking with Charlemagne about a lot of the system, you see? And when you get into talk about the system, there's things that you can make changes.
America. When you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. Mm-hmm. The way I felt before is the way I still feel. Things have got too serious of a point. Okay. Seeing what's going on, white men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous. Mm-hmm. So this man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote.
Mm-hmm. Stand back and stand by.
Stand back and stand by.
Yeah.
We're in a war. We're not taking this like it's a war. We're taking this like, oh, we're in a presidential election. Mm-hmm. No, we're in a war of love versus hate.
Now, again, this video I'm showing you, it came out 3 years ago. So it's not while this ongoing election period is going on, but it is showing how in this election period, he technically wasn't for either candidate, right? Because He's not going, oh, well, this needs to be going this way or that goes. Right now, how with a certain people in office, it brings up more of racism in our society, and that it brings that to the front line. And we all need to be connected and what is going on. All right.
The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. The tribe of people that have the responsibility and really should be scared to death of this man is white people.
Explain.
If this man is elected, we're not standing by no more getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war.
Okay. So you hear him. We're on a verge of a race war if these things were to happen 3 years ago, right? He didn't get he only had his one term in office. Right now he's going back to try and get him a second term in office. Who you vote for, believe me, I'm not sitting here telling you who to vote for. That's on you, right? But as we get more into what he's saying and the things that are being talked about, you will start to see that it is not even about the higher part of the election. Diddy was trying to really touch on some things at the lowest levels and work our way up to get to that point. Okay. That, I think, is the biggest problem that they saw with what was going on.
People in America want a race war, they'll not vote. I'm an independent, first of all.
For those
when
who
I
don't
vote,
know,
I try to do what's
for those who don't know, Diddy votes independent.
best for my community.
Let's be clear on that. You're not standing behind your decision to hold your vote anymore.
Okay?
You want people to go out there and vote.
It would be irresponsible of me to have us hold our vote hostage. But it would also be irresponsible of me to just let this moment go by. The world is watching, and not do everything I can to make sure that going forth that we're a part of the narrative, that we.
So yeah, as he talks about these things and he talks about the narrative, you'll see it gets deeper. Okay. He gets deeper into what is being discussed and how it's being discussed and how things are being ran and how things are leaving out a lot of the people.
With some young, fearless Black activists, elected officials, and I've stepped up and put the money behind it. This is the biggest threat and the only option that we have right now as far as making a change, taking our own self-responsibility and accountability to be educated and empowered with our vote.
So what's the goal for our Black Party?
Our Black Party's number one goal is to unify behind a Black agenda. That's
So let me be clear. Diddy was going to try to dive into the politics side of things, right? And start his own, well, not his own, but try to start a movement to create change, like real change, okay? Not what we hear about, not what we are told is going to happen, and then something else happens.
it. You could be a part of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, you could be an independent, but if you Black, you wasn't born independent, you was born Black. Seize our political power, because it'll just be more the same, being pushed this way, being pushed that way, and we expecting a different result. But the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over the same way, expecting a different result, and it's not going to happen.
Nope. I'm gonna move a little forward for you.
Down to the local elections, when we get down to the school board, we get down to the judges and the justices. That's so confusing for us. We've never played this game.
Nope.
This is another level of gangster.
Yo.
But I played this game before.
Okay.
You know, I started in 2004 with Vote or Die, and this is the evolution of that
Pay
thought,
attention.
of that empowerment, of that independence.
Pay attention. Okay. That was 20 years ago. So, 20 years ago.
Of us taking self-accountability, so we're not caught with our pants down like this election. Right now, we're not gonna get nothing. We caught with our pants down. We're not organized. We're not ready to really.
So, right. He went out, like I said, I ain't paying for the ads. They that's fine. They'll be all right. You know, like I know, and if you don't know, you're gonna know. You can't.
What's the difference between Vote or Die Diddy and Hold Your Vote Diddy?
You can't speak about certain things. This is one of them.
And what occurred between those two phases that made the change happen?
I went through the experience of politics. I played the game with the Democratic Party. The people that I went and campaigned for, after they got elected, I don't feel like they really did anything to change the reality of Black people. Like I was blessed enough to find God come to me and tell me my purpose. And he told me my purpose is to play a part in saving the Black race. The Vote or Die Diddy was about politics and, you know.
Let's be honest, okay? The Vote or Die Diddy that was about politics, for you and me to go and vote the people that they wanted in office, well, in office. After he realized that doing what he did for him and going out his way did nothing for the communities, the people, the towns. He said that I go out and give you what I'm giving you and pulling in what I'm pulling in, if you all can't give it back, right? Which makes sense. Now, also, a lot of people, when all right, they took in the idea that the lawsuit that Diddy had with Diego, which, you know, is the alcohol and spirit brand world, the lawsuit that he had with them, which was for racism and the fact that they weren't treating him fairly, that most people thinks that that's why Diddy is going through what he's going through and dealing with it, and that, obviously Diego runs things across countries because Diego is one of the biggest spirits and alcohol producers across the world. And yes, Diddy was connected to that. But I don't think, I think that plays a part. I don't think that that is the whole story. I do think that there's more behind why they want him quiet.
Supportive.
Okay.
And also, they kind of guilt us in the votings, But as I evolved, I realized this is a business. This is a transaction.
Oh, yeah.
This is the closest thing to the streets than the streets that I've seen.
That's why I don't think there's nothing wrong with asking these politicians for something for your vote.
Yeah. You can't keep on giving your power away for free.
No.
This is Black insanity. We keep on doing the same thing over and over, the same way, expecting a different result. Now we in a trick bag, as my mother would say. You know what I'm saying? Did not get anything out of putting Biden in the place he's in after the primaries.
They gave us Senator Harris as the VP. I mean, those are some of the things we were asking for. Black agenda could be way stronger.
You could march, you could protest, and people could hear you, but that don't mean that they're making any changes. So for me, it was us looking at looking within ourselves and saying, let's not wait for these people to come and save us. Let's not wait for the Democratic Party. Let's not wait for government. Let's own our politics. Black politics. We need to own that.
Listen up. Now, again, this isn't for me, I don't think that he's going out doing this as far as something for the race war, right? I think that it has something to do with them trying to create rich, poor. That's it. The middle class is something that they've been trying to wipe out. And I feel as though he understood that. And in several interviews and in several other things, which if you continue to follow and you continue with this page, you will see I will be having a video breaking down and discussing all of the little things that go on, in a sense, to having him set up for what we're seeing now, right?
We need to have a platform, an institution that's going to support and breed young Black politicians and social leaders that have integrity, not just in the quiet rooms, publicly.
One question about race in the first presidency.
One question about race, and I was hurt. I didn't feel like Joe Biden really defended us. I want to make sure we don't miss the importance of this time.
Which I think is a big reason on why even in this election coming forward, they decided to pull him back, push Camilla up, because they knew that he lost his vote in the community and he wasn't getting it. All right. When we look and we're like, oh, Joe Biden, right? We're like, Joe Biden. And that's all we got to say, right? We know that Joe's kind of not there and we let it go.
We've never had a political party. We wasn't born Republican and Democrat. We don't even get we don't get talked about. We're not a topic of conversation. And we can stand by and keep on doing the same thing. Yes. Right now, let's stay focused on Trump.
It's a far.
So, I think that, yes, there's a lot stated, about Trump, but let's be honest, these two, him and Trump partied together, right? I don't know if they were friends. They were definitely in social circles together for quite some time. I just think that there's more to it. And he knew that he could only say so much, so he had to word things kind of coded. So
and that's success. To me, it's the local election. It's not the presidential.
Let's check
Black
it out.
political power, it's all rooted in the education,
Okay.
and to be in control of our destiny, not putting it in somebody else's hands that's coming from outside of the community or doesn't have the community's best interests at heart.
That's right.
And that's success. To me, it's the local election. It's not the presidential election.
No.
It's the local elections. In our neighborhoods, who's running our neighborhoods? Who are the judges that are being elected into office that's jailing us, that's keeping the same insanity? We got to be able to bang on another sophisticated level. And it's not, man, this is not like a hard sell, but this is the most dangerous thing we could do. This is one of the biggest threats.
You heard that? All right, look. Watch his action and reaction to what he's saying. Just watch it. And you can see he got animated about it because he feels it, he knows it. And well, they've always said that if we were to band up, it'd be a problem. Because they know that. They know. Listen, in any time in history, all right, Anytime in history, they always said that if the people were to have banded up and grouped together, they would have taken out the hierarchy. It ain't changed. Listen to him.
This in us weaponizing our vote and weaponizing our dollar is a nightmare.
It's
for
good.
the world.
It's good to hear you say that because you know a lot of people initially.
It's not hard to
Listen,
understand.
man.
This is not like a hard sell.
Listen,
but this is the most dangerous thing we could do. This is one of the biggest threats. This in us weaponizing our vote and weaponizing our dollar is a nightmare.
It's
for
good.
the world.
Y'all know what just happened? Bozai's got put on him right after that. The minute he said, listen, we need to weaponize our dollar and our vote, they said, y'all better put the jackets on him. And I'm sure after this came out, well, I'm sure that more stuff started to come out then quietly about Diddy and all of his Diddy-licious moments. Now, I'm not saying that, again, I ain't saying the parties didn't happen. I'm not saying Diddy isn't the booty goon. All right? He might be. He is. But I'm saying that all of that came out because of what came out of his mouth and what he said and the things that he's been doing and probably building behind the scenes.
It's good to hear you say that because you know a lot of people initially, when you first said what you said about holding your vote, he wants to see Trump in the White House because it helps rich like him. So they thought that you was trying to sabotage the election.
People don't really know me. Like, I'm blessed that I have the money to start this.
That's right.
This political part. I don't make no apologies for how much cake I get.
Cake I get?
That has empowered me, but I know once I get it, I'm going to fund the revolution. I'm a black now.
Oh, I had to pause. I just need y'all to go back before he hits y'all with the next part, okay? I need you to know, all right? Before he hits you with the next part, all right? He just said, I'm taking the money and I'm funding it. What have they been going after in every single case? What have they been going after? Notice that all of the cases have had to settle for what? The money. The money, okay? Because they want to take it. That's why. And the only way to take it, case after case, a long legal battle. He just finished hiring new lawyers. He still has his old lawyer, but he just put more lawyers on the team. And what does it take? The money.
I'm going to fund the revolution. I'm a black nationalist.
Black nationalist.
I'm unapologetically black. I have to take care of the tribe first. I cannot
one.
sit here and watch. This is my blood family.
Say it again.
How you think I'm gonna be? I can't worry about nothing else. I love everybody.
That's right.
But right now, I gotta make moves and I gotta use my.
Look, that's different. All right. He might love everybody in a really strange way, but okay, like he said, I'm a black nationalist. All right. I gotta take care of the truth.
I'm going to fund the revolution. I'm a black nationalist. I'm unapologetically black. I have to take care of the tribe first.
That's it.
I cannot sit here and watch. This is my blood family.
Come on,
how you think I'm gonna be? I can't worry about nothing. I love everybody. But right now, I gotta make moves and I gotta use my power for the advancement of black people because we last.
Have you ever even thought about voting Republican for financial gain because of the tax bracket you're in?
No, that money's not all right. All I got.
He votes independent.
To do is get to action. I don't care if you understand it, you don't understand it. I'm a warrior. I've been in head to head with these folk.
Okay.
In corporate America. You know what I'm saying?
Head to head with corporate America.
Like when they ask the question, is there systemic racism? and nobody answers the question. I'm like, yo, no, hold on. This systemic racism, they trying to keep their foot on the neck up to my level, up to Jay-Z's level, up to LeBron's level. It's an illusion of inclusion.
What'd he say?
On this systemic racism, they trying to keep their foot on the neck up to my level, up to Jay-Z's level, up to LeBron's level. It's an illusion of inclusion by just a couple of us. So I could sit back here in the crib, but I'm not with that. I'm from that same block. I'm a
Where you from, Diddy?
frontliner. I'm with the smoke at any time, no matter
The what?
where my address is at. We're in a war. This shit is not a fucking game. Everybody needs to wake up. I'm having to start right now to organize and to come together, and so we can build our political army unapologetically.
Okay. So again, all right, hearing what he's saying, right? Listening, understanding. He was over here talking, building his own party, taking over a system that's been in place since we've started this country, right? And for those who may not know, the system in place since we've started this country is still under other rule. It's a lot to understand, but there's a reason that mostly all the stuff that happens continues to happen. If you look into who and how, you'll find that even when we signed for the independence to get a little, and a lot of that was really just kind of like letting Britain sit back and watch us and giving us the thought that we had to control. So that's why I say, like, in place for long periods of time, and he's over here going, let's try something about it and let's get to fixing some of the brokenness to our system.
For the things that matter to us.
Do you believe there's a way to vote in support of like your personal interests and the interests of your people as a whole?
Yeah. See, when you at our Black Party, it's Black insanity. We have to get, and now we.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move a little forward for you, you know, because I did watch that piece. A lot of that, you know, it's not that it's repetitive, but it is definitely repeated. So I'm gonna push forward a little bit for you so that we can get to a couple of the next things said.
Springboard to not just give our vote away. We're gonna do what we have to do.
Politicians, but we don't put enough pressure on politicians to show up for us. So how?
Neither candidate has earned our vote or has even tried. They haven't even gone to our communities. And when I say our communities I'm from. I live here now, and that's because, you know, this is God's will, and I worked for it.
But tell them where you're from.
I still smell the pissy hallway. I still feel the road. Taste the cheese sandwiches. And so there's other people that are going through that and that are suffering, not in the illusion of everything going on the gram. We have a whole community of people, a mass of people that's living in poverty. And not everybody's Black. It's all people that right now, you know, they need us to step up and to stand up and to do something to change the trajectory. So if we have power, we gotta ride hard for the people that don't have the power.
Which is why I was saying earlier, I know that he keeps mentioning it as a Black problem and stating it and putting it out there like that he's referring to the whole as, again, they're trying to erase out a middle class and keep it poor, not like okay poor, but like poor, and rich, and that's it. So I think that he sat in those places, he's seen it, he knows what the agenda is, and he was like, yo, wait a minute. And he started to talk.
I feel like you approaching this the way you approach corporate America.
I'm really approaching it like a war. Like for me, the only way to really be honest about it is I have to declare war.
But isn't that what you did to corporate America, so to speak?
Yeah, but anything that's, that is about oppressing us and keeping us down, nah, I want to break its neck. I want to run it out of town forever. In a reality, kids out here, they want to live, they want to fucking thrive. They can't thrive if it keeps on going in this direction. And the fucking freak show playing the game and people are losing their lives. And so that's why this time is so important. And this time for us to mobilize and to not be scared and to do something. Why have we never had our own Black political party? Fuck that. We're doing it now. I don't care if it's just 1,000 of us.
So Diddy, to answer that for you, it's never really happened because, well, the last time they tried a little political party, you know what happened. 2 shots in the door, now Huey dead. Tupac told us. And granted, it was different because times were different and the party was different because, it was a little bit more of like force. But it was one of the only times in history where people came together and were actually banding up to try to do something else for more things. So again, it was different. But what did people learn from it? They learned that if they ever try that again, 2 shots in the door, then they be dead.
1,000 real ones, which it should be millions. It should be every person. America messed up. They flooded the hood with guns. So I don't know this notion of we don't have guns.
They plotted to kidnap the governor of Michigan. White supremacists. So that what you're saying is true. Yes, it's going to be violence. There's going to be problems, and he's stirring it up.
Yeah, and so I feel the way we can stop us from getting to that point of unifying together and voting him out. This whole thing is set up, even at my level. You know what I'm saying? Even at the level of hip hop.
So, yep. When he gets into it being set up and the different levels of how things are set up and just how things go, right? It gets deep.
Things are set up to try to stop us from growing and being as great as we want to be. So the same thing with revolt. I had to go and people have fell in line, but it's not easy. It's not easy for me, for Jay. They still treat us like niggas. I don't want nobody to get it twisted. Whatever we are right now.
Y'all heard that, right? Again, I mean, Jay mentioned it on his album. I don't know. I ain't really checked out Oprah to hear what she had to say, right?
So, and really go to war with all of the distributors.
Jay messed it up on his album.
And people have fell in line, but it's not easy. It's not easy for me, for Jay, for Oprah. They still treat us like niggas. I don't want nobody to get it twisted.
Nah.
Whatever we are right now, we could probably be 10 times bigger. So we starting right now with our political power on to owning our economics. And war will be waged on corporate America.
You see where the problem lies? He was thinking about doing something that would ruffle the feathers of a lot of people.
Takes advantage of our dollars and thinks we're not going to fight back.
You think we spent too much time glorifying like rap and entertainment?
Now we have to break down the doors. We all did start to feel a little bit better. And it's helpful that we will have her in there because we need.
Like, well, how can we get
coach you want?
A few more minutes of this, and then I'm gonna cut it off on you. We're gonna do a little discussion on Ron Burkle and what part he may play into this.
I didn't have conversations. I don't really like, really getting on the phone and talking to politicians. I didn't meet and really talk to Obama until, after he was out of office. So with politics, I try to stay away from this. Like Trump's camp tried to reach out, but my thing wasn't how can I get one of them in office. My thing is how can I end this black insanity of us continuing to be a part of a team that doesn't love us.
Okay.
How can we create our own team?
Let me ask you a question. Will voting prevent bloodshed? Meaning like, okay, we get Trump out. Will that prevent bloodshed?
The only thing that will prevent bloodshed is if they stop killing us. Ooh.
So, I mean, he's referring to, the George Floyd incident. He's referring to all the Trayvon Martin, all the things that we've watched over the last, several years where we've been ready to riot, where things have been ready to go another level. And he's stating that again, like all of that stuff has to be held accountable. All of it needs to be dealt with, or else what are we doing?
Incremental change. That's not going to get us anywhere. If we stay on this trajectory, in 30 years, we'll have zero wealth. And all of that is tied back to if we unify. If we don't unify politically, we don't unify.
30 years. What did I tell y'all the whole time I've been telling you? Poor, high class, 30 years. They trying to wipe us out. He gave you the inside information on that. All right? Take it for what it is.
Economically, and most importantly, we don't unify in love, then we're not going to last. They have us on a planned trajectory for 30 years for my daughters and sons to be broke. Everybody to be broke, like zero wealth.
I wonder if we should be the ones.
All right. So you heard him. All right. On a trajectory to be broke, zero wealth. This man right here is pretty much the man behind Diddy. He helps keep up with the money. He's pretty much been his little pocket. Ron Burkle. Okay. Owns a whole lot of stuff. Definitely been a part of the Whole Foods. Owns private investment firms. So Ron Burkle has always been a big player in Diddy's game. He also even helped Diddy with. You okay? Yeah. All right, buddy. He even helped Diddy with gaining a gaining $100 million inside of funds for. Come on, we'll go lay down. Go lay down. Daddy be right there, okay? Yeah, come on, let's go. All right. They gained $100 million in funds for Sean John's clothing brand. Now, as you can see, little man woke up. Thank you for tuning into an episode of the Twisted Tea, where we come to bring you the news with a twist. I'll be sure to bring you more. Like I told you before, everything that's going on with Diddy is not a surprise. Some of the stuff that he has said and spoke out about has definitely been a problem. Thank you for taking a look and a listen. Enjoy your day. Come on, let's go lay down.